There was a certain power in knowing what no one else did. For years, Elise Maddox had built her entire career around secrets. Not just keeping them, but knowing how to use them. People came to her because she was discreet, trustworthy, and incredibly good at what she did. Her profession was simple in principle but complex in execution. She was a fixer, a person who made problems disappear before they became public, safeguarding the reputations of the wealthy, the powerful, and the influential. Politicians, celebrities, corporate executives. Elise knew them all, not for who they were in public, but for the private flaws and mistakes they kept hidden from the world. Illicit affairs, financial misdeeds, scandalous addictions. Whatever their secrets, Elise was the one they called when things began to unravel. She had a way of managing the damage, ensuring that the skeleton stayed firmly locked in the closet. For years, Elise reveled in the control this gave her. She didn't see herself as manipulative, merely practical. She understood that everyone had secrets, and she was simply the gatekeeper, the one who ensured those secrets didn't destroy lives. Her reputation for discretion was impeccable, and her services were highly sought after. She knew exactly what needed to be done to prevent the media from discovering the truth about her clients. And she prided herself on never allowing anyone's secrets to slip. But Elise had a secret of her own. One she had buried deep, hidden from everyone, including herself at times. It was a secret she had spent decades running from, even as she built her career around the secrets of others. In the world she had created, it was easier to hide behind the problems of the powerful than to confront her own past. Her secret had started small, just a single mistake from years ago, but it had grown over time, festering into something much darker. It was a decision she had made when she was younger, desperate, scared, and unsure of her future. Back then, she had done something she wasn't proud of, something that had changed the course of her life forever. She had kept it hidden for so long that she had convinced herself it would never come to light. But secrets have a way of resurfacing, no matter how deeply they're buried. Elise's undoing began one ordinary afternoon when she received a call from a client. It was a situation like many she had handled before, an influential businesswoman on the verge of a scandal. The details were murky, but Elise knew how to navigate the waters. She set up a meeting, prepared to fix things as she always did. But this time, something was different. When Elise arrived at the meeting, she found not just her client waiting for her, but another man, someone she hadn't seen in over 20 years. His name was Daniel, and he was part of her past, a past she had desperately tried to forget. The moment their eyes met, Elise's stomach dropped. Daniel knew her secret. He had been there when it had all gone wrong. Before she could say anything, Daniel spoke. "It's been a long time, Elise." Elise swallowed hard, her mind racing. She hadn't seen Daniel since the day everything fell apart. And now, here he was, standing in front of her, a reminder of the life she had left behind. "I didn't know you were involved in this," she said, her voice steady despite the panic rising inside her. "I wasn't until recently," Daniel replied. "But once I realized who I was dealing with, I knew we needed to talk." Elise could feel the walls closing in around her. This wasn't just another client meeting. This was her past catching up to her in the worst possible way. Daniel knew the truth about what had happened all those years ago, and now, for the first time in her career, she was the one whose secret was about to be exposed. "You've spent your life protecting other people's secrets, Elise," Daniel said quietly. "But it's time to face your own." Elise's mind flashed back to the decision she had made when she was younger, the choice that had changed everything. She had been working for a powerful political figure at the time, a man whose career was built on lies. She had discovered a devastating truth, one that could have ruined him and destroyed countless lives. And instead of revealing it, she had helped him cover it up. She had done it for the money, for the promise of a future in his world of power and influence. But the cost had been greater than she had ever imagined. For years, Elise had told herself that she had done the right thing, that keeping the secret had protected more people than it had harmed. But deep down, she had always known the truth. She had sold her integrity for the promise of success, and in doing so had betrayed her own values. And now, standing in front of Daniel, she realized there was no escaping it anymore. "What do you want?" Elise asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Daniel looked at her for a long moment before answering. "I don't want to ruin you, Elise, but I think it's time you come clean. You can't keep hiding behind other people's secrets when you've been running from your own for so long." Elise felt the weight of his words hit her like a tidal wave. She had spent years controlling the narrative, manipulating the truth to protect herself and her clients. But now, the truth was staring her in the face, and there was no way to fix it, no way to bury it any longer. For the first time in her life, Elise didn't know what to do. As the days passed, the threat of her secret being exposed loomed larger. Daniel hadn't given her an ultimatum. He hadn't demanded anything from her other than the truth. But the realization that her entire career, her reputation, was built on a foundation of lies began to eat away at her. The very thing she had prided herself on, the ability to keep other people's secrets, was the same thing that had trapped her in her own web of deceit. And so Elise made a choice. She called a press conference, something she had advised countless clients against in the past, knowing full well the risks involved. But this time, it was her turn to stand in front of the cameras, to face the truth head-on. As she stood at the podium, the lights of the cameras glaring in her eyes, Elise took a deep breath. The weight of her secret pressed down on her. But for the first time in years, she felt something else, relief. "I have spent my entire career protecting the secrets of others," Elise began, her voice steady. "But I can no longer hide from my own. Years ago, I made a choice that I have regretted every day since. I helped cover up a truth that should have been revealed, and in doing so, I betrayed not just myself, but the people who deserved to know the truth." The room was silent, the reporters hanging on her every word. "I am not proud of the person I became," Elise continued, her voice faltering for a moment. "But I am here today because I no longer want to live in the shadows of that decision. I am ready to face the consequences of my actions, whatever they may be." As she spoke, Elise felt the weight of years of guilt and shame lifting from her shoulders. She had spent so long running from the truth, hiding behind the secrets of others, that she had forgotten what it felt like to be free. The fallout from her confession was swift. The media latched onto the story, and the man she had once protected was forced to face his own reckoning. Elise's career, once untouchable, was over. But for the first time in her life, she didn't care. In the end, the secrets she had kept had cost her everything. But in losing it all, she had finally found the one thing she had been missing all along: redemption. For Elise, the keeper of secrets, the truth had set her free.